Welcome to another one of these short videos which are intended to help you writing your essay for Logos 1. And as promised, in number 7 we're looking at editing, but because there are some different aspects to look at with editing, I've actually decided to divide it into 5 different editing videos. So 7a, this one, is about the word limit. Once again, we acknowledge the traditional owners and custodians of the land on which our university sits. And word limit issues are one of what I've called the famous 5 flaws which you want to remove from your essay before uploading it. So you're way over your word limit. You know, you've been given 1,500, you're over 2,000. That's no good. No one wants to read all of that. Give the guys a break there. And those other issues we're going to look at in the other 4 editing videos. But today we're just going to focus on this one issue of cutting down words. Well, how do you do it? Here's an example of a paragraph that's ripe for some editing. Remember, as with all of the examples I'm showing you, please don't plagiarize these examples of philosophy essays. So, you've literally become drunk on your own words. We need to sober your essay up. There are 3 R's which are going to help. They're going to be our tools where we're going to do this job. The first R is to identify redundancy in your essay. The second is to root out repetition. And the third one is to apply reduction. And those 3 strategies are going to bring your word limit under control. So let's start off with redundancy. Here's a bit of that paragraph. So what's redundancy? Redundancy is unnecessary text. Words which are just not pulling their weight. They're just hanging around, looking nice. They're off the team, okay? They're not pulling their weight. Look at that. We're just going to call this fluff, okay? To entirely comprehend. It's just comprehend. The word entirely is not adding much. This is like a belly button that's been neglected and it's collected fluff. It needs to be cleaned out. So sometimes it's adjectives and adverbs like the first 2 examples, or here she asserts the concept that, well, she just asserts it. We don't need the word concept. It's not doing anything. And then the second kind of redundancy that's quite easy to spot and cut out is TMI, too much information. We've got all this information here about this other book, but it's already in your reference list. It doesn't need to be here at all. And we don't need the person's first name. Kravalitsky is all we need. Frankly, that's a bit of a mouthful already. And look, you're not dating this woman. She won't mind if you don't call her Judith. She's fine with that. So once you've got rid of the redundancy, we can look at repetition. Say it once, people, once. I broke my own rule there, did you see? So here we have the divine twice, doesn't need to be said twice. And here we have the woman's name twice. Now, we've already established that you've got a bit of a thing for Judith, but we don't need her name twice in the same sentence. And here we've got the word Almighty. Lo and behold, just a few words later, we've got the word Almighty again. Surely that doesn't have to be said twice. So you've got to look for examples of repetition, and in most cases, they can be pretty easily cut out. And that's what we get. It's gone. Now we're ready to go for our third R, reduction. Now, reduction is most easily applied to multi-word phrases. English language is full of them. We just love it. We love to say, put up with, 3 words. A lot of other languages get by with 1 word for that. And even in English, we could say tolerate or accept. And very often, if we replace the multi-word phrase with a single word, it becomes a little bit more formal. But that's okay for writing. It's a kind of formal thing anyway, the essay. So it's a double whammy. It's a good thing to do. You're replacing these phrases by shorter words, which help your word limit, and they kind of seem more appropriate. So let's identify these phrases made up of different words. It is necessary. Well, surely there's a verb. Isn't the verb need? Again, it's same thing. And be aware of, isn't that just to know? See, it's not, raiding the dictionary at all. You just need to identify these phrases. They're all over the place, and they're just eating up your word count. And that doesn't, surely that means because, doesn't it? So if you replace 3 words with 1, and you do that several times, you can see it has quite an effect on your word count. And then we're down to that. So I haven't taken away any ideas at all. And you know what? It's shorter, but it's actually better than it was before. Because saying things in fewer words is generally better, particularly when you're writing it. So you see what we've done? We've taken that on the left. We've just identified redundancy. We've rooted out repetition. And we've reduced multi-word phrases to single words. And without, I think, too much difficulty, we've sliced the word count so that not only have you got rid of your problem of excess, you've actually got words now to play with. And that great idea that you had the other day when you were waiting in Woolworths for your bag of chips, it just popped into your head and you thought, oh no, I'll never fit it in. That can now come into your essay. You've given yourself room. And last but not least, my mum, by the way, my dear mum. I remember she used to go out with like £10 in her pocket and come back with like a whole bag of shopping. Like, how did she do it? She was the kind of person where every penny counts. Be my mum when you write your essay. Make sure that you account for every penny, every word in your essay is doing something useful. Okay, so that's it on word limit. Good luck with slicing down your word count. At this stage, you might be lucky and get an appointment with one of us to have a look at your draft and give you some more feedback. Get in quick with your booking. Have a look at the library resources, particularly on referencing, which I'm not talking about in this series. And use the Ask Us feature to get some advice on particular issues. And what's coming up next in our series? It's cut and paste, where you've lifted something and you've kind of lazily put it into your essay as if it was your own words, but it sticks out a mile. We'll talk about how to deal with that in the next video. Thanks a lot.